Okay. Oh, it changed. Okay, it's Narrative Tarot. Hi, everybody. I'm here for, I was going to say Mercury, Neptune, June 2021. I have a fan going on because we don't have the air on right now. So, like, ignore that. There's going to be just a humming. Otherwise, it would be, like, effing hot. Anyway, so all right, welcome to the channel. If you're new, um, I do monthly. Let's do this. As good as it gets. And actually, we just might as well just leave it open. So I do monthly readings by planet. So if you're interested in that, as opposed to zodiac sign, you know, stick around. If not, you know. But I do that. I do other readings. I'm gonna do a new set of readings and book reviews, stuff like that. So if you're interested, just click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and go from there. Check in periodically just to make sure that YouTube didn't unsubscribe you or something weird happened. But whatever. So this is for Neptune, June 2021. I'm using a deck that I consider Neptunian, which is the Crystal Tarot. Right here. So the Crystal Tarot. And then I'll do a part two, which is more somatic, but it just might be a part two and additional advice. So let's see what we're going to do. What card is going to come out. So it's just going to be a one card pull. We have Justice. So Neptune is in the last degrees, or it's entering kind of like the later degrees of Pisces, which is where it's at home. So just pay attention to that wherever it is in the last bit of your chart. I kind of feel like the last degrees of Pisces, everybody will be swimming and buzzing, and everybody will be floating, euphoric. There's a sense of we did it. There might be a sense of transmutation, getting ready for it to go in Aries, which will be very enlightening. And I think anybody who has this deck, you might want to like use it or get it. So, because it's a Neptune deck for me, but Neptune kind of more fiery. So Justice, so a lot of things will be, I won't even like, oh, the scales will be balanced or things like that. I think it'll be more like mental corrections, mental notes. I think just a knowingness of what is a trap of your own mind. You'll know your own mind better. You'll know the minds of others better. It's like being plugged in more connected. You have to be aware of falling into the energy of know-it-allness with this. So I kind of feel like you guys, I don't know if you started to feel Neptune kind of finishing up everything or getting ready to finish up in the next like I think it's in the next like 3 to 5 years. But there's a sense of completion. There's some people that may be starting new things that won't wrap up until Neptune is wrapped up. And I mean fully out of Pisces. There's no retrograding back or anything like that. Just there's just going to be a time period where this is going to be, but it's self-correcting. Silence may be really important to you now. Silence may be really important to you in the future increasingly. It's like I don't know, I feel like people, if you started to be very silent, people are starting to throw at you the idea that nobody's home, so to speak. So I don't know where you live in part of the world, but when people are suggesting that there's something quite not right or something wrong, they'll say your elevator doesn't go all the way to the top, or they'll say, particularly where I am, or nobody's home, or something like that. So you may start getting people like treating you like that. June might be a time where it starts, but it feels like for you that we need a longer timeline. Um, Maybe because it seems like Pisces is stretching the timeline out quite long. So what feels like a day is really 10 years. What feels like 10 years is really a day. Something like that. But it feels like there is an emptying out, and you may just not have anything to say anymore. So for some of you guys, you may just be wrapping up cycles where you don't have anything to say. You don't have anything, like, there's no malicious. If you're getting divorced, um, you may just go there, silently sign everything, and then leave. Like, things like that. Silence. People may also approach you because you seem to have not a poker face, but you seem to have your head on straight for somebody not being home, right? Mentally home. But you seem to have your head on straight. You seem to know what you want, know where you're going. And that sort of authority, I guess, is going to help people. Like, they may be attracted to you. So if you want to consult people, that's good. You might want to consult yourself for a few things. Justice. Legally, things may work out for you. Legally, there might be new laws that come out for some reason. Whatever you're dealing with, there might be new laws that come out. So if you're doing anything where you have contracts and stuff like that, just pay attention to when the laws shift or change, or when they're set to expire or something like that. Certifications and stuff like that, renewal and stuff like that, but particularly like laws may be changing. It may be laws that you never thought would change, for the better, I feel like, or some sort of stipulation that blocked you. It's like, transcending and things like that. But some sort of law or statute is being amended or removed entirely, and that may help your business, your consulting, your business partnerships, business dealings. You may be able to, instead of just being in one location, take something internationally, or take something interstate, parish, region, something like that. But it's something that you may have to really pay attention to, because it's Neptune. You may have to really pay attention to it, so you have to actually follow it. So if you are in a certain profession and you've kind of fallen off, pay attention to the laws, because it seems like there's something there that may free you up, and you don't want to go into certain situations where you're going into it thinking that that knowledge isn't there, or that timeline is collapsed, or that issue is resolved. Like, it may be something that's into your business that, like, there's a certain law that, like, caps it or fucks it up in some way, where, like, you can only make a certain amount of money. Like, there's some limitation that this law is bringing, and through it being amended, it lifts it. But, like, if you don't pay attention to it, you'll go into your business developing, and it could be for a business that needs to be developed. You'll go into your business developing it with that limitation in mind, but then you'll find out that it doesn't exist, and you'll have to kind of do it over, so to speak. So pay attention to that. I feel like you guys will just need to pay attention to nuance. You need to pay attention to nuance. You need to pay attention to I said seances. That too. I guess seances. I don't know. I don't know what seance means. I don't know. Like I don't know how that relates. But it could be a law that's been on the books for a really long time. So, um, like it could be something that limited people, 20 years ago or something like that. Like if you rolling it over now, if you're in a business that needs to change and shift, then you need to go ahead and change your laws and procedures with that. Update your like client policy, like put feelers out like to your clients, the ones that only come in like once a year, or they used to come in every year and then they come in like every 2 3 years. Like ask them, this is a good time with this justice card. Like, do you still want this? Are you still interested in what we have to offer? Are you still like a client? You may find that like the people that you thought were like still members or still registered or still paying like haven't, and you're probably like, well, what happened? So go back, check your finances, check your invoices, check your memberships, check your like systems, because there's some people that may have fallen off that you really didn't notice because you weren't paying attention. You were paying attention to something else, and maybe they were one of those clients that like you didn't have to check in so much because they were pretty cool and calm and they understood, like, you know, like this is what I want. They're not overly demanding, stuff like that. But it's like you gotta check and like, are you still there? Like that's how it feels. But um quietly observing the world, taking notice of when things shift and change. Um, this is definitely a more career business minded. It could be for anything, paying attention to old things. But I feel like for this month, for Pisces people, there's probably some limitations to what you're trying to achieve. And so that is something. I'll link the Jupiter video because it might be related to that. Because Jupiter is in Pisces, or it's gone into Pisces, or it's going into Pisces. So take a peek at that and see if it relates. But I kind of do feel like it's more business minded this month. Less talking, more doing, more thinking, more self correcting without the need to say that you have to correct yourself. And don't try to beat someone to the punch of criticism or correction. You know, I was at the grocery store one day and like this lady complimented my hair. It was like, oh, I like you have your thick hair, and I was like, it's not thick, and she was like, well, it's beautiful. Kind of like, just take the fucking compliment, you know. So yeah, take the compliment, take the advice, things like that. Okay, let's go to the more somatic. I don't know if it's going to be somatic, but with the good tarot and this sacred geometry deck. Well, let's see. Scratch myself real good. Okay, so Neptune, June 2021. Okay. You have King of Fire and then Owl, Raven, Yin, and Yang. Ugh. So, you might encounter a creature that for some reason represents duality, or they present themselves in a way that society doesn't expect. Like, if they're known to be ferocious, they're very gentle, very kind, whatever bites they give are more out of curiosity or playful, as opposed to um, wanting to hunt you or something like that, or something that presents itself to be like, oh, like it's so great and fabulous, it's the cutest dog ever, or it's a gentle breed of whatever. It turns out to be like really fucking ferocious for some reason. I don't know if it's because it doesn't like your energy, or is that the actual energy, like the actual natural disposition of this thing is to be that way, and that people perceive it to be something that it isn't. Like, that's what it feels. So like if you have a pet, and like you're if you have a pet that acts out of the ordinary, it might be that it's been trained so much to do and be and act in a certain way, that when it acts in this new way, you're like, I'm so shocked by this, but that's actually its natural disposition. That's actual, and it may be some sort of rebellion, like this is who I really am type shit like happening. So it could be for people, it could be for animals, it could be for spaces, it could be anything. But it seems like whatever you perceive something to be isn't how it is. So like this could be on the course correction, because I can see how this works for me with regards to someone in my life. But if you have a perception of someone as being scary, or um, very like dark or something like that, they actually may not be that. They stand in their power so much. It's almost like their power is so strong that it reverses the effect on people. Like it reverses the perception. Like it's really, it's like the, I guess this may this may be a longer term thing, because like when Neptune goes into Aries, like you might actually be able to see people's true colors, or the true core essence of what they are. It's just right now, as you're getting closer to the degrees, you may just feel like something's off or something's wrong, or your perception just may be kind of weird about things. You may be in situations that turn out differently than you expected, but it's because you're reading someone or something as, you're pegging them as something, and you're going with that, but they're changing. So just like those laws or whatever that are changing, like something's changing, but I think they're changing back to who they naturally are. Like, well, they're, you're changing your perception to see them as they truly are and how they always have been. But it's almost like they're an energy trickster or an energy twister or something like that. Like, it's somebody that comes off so bold in who they are, that they're actually they're very muted. Like, I can't fully explain it. I can just tell you that whoever is coming across as one way, really at their core is probably something else, and you'll finally see it, for better or for worse. So you'll finally see it. They could have a totem that like their totem could be like a totem, but like they could have an ant guy that helps them, and you be like, man, fucking ant, like what the fuck? But ants are really strong. um they have their own sort of skill, so to speak. So don't count anybody out. Don't dismiss people based on what you think they have, because they could turn out to surprise you, like I said, for better or for worse. So don't count on it's like, if you feel overly, and this is another thing with the King of Fire, if you feel overly confident with this heart and overly committed with this heart, you may get a surprise. A healthy detachment with this Justice card is kind of good. So just focus on not I'm not gonna say non-attachment, but like focus on actually perceiving things the way that they are. Or if you're feeling like you're not perceiving it, just let it show itself in time. Or this is something I want to do for people's emotions and things like that. And this is something I'm going to work on, I guess. People's like energy fields and feeling things and feelings that are hidden to oneself. Um, Draw a picture, right? Like, oh, you're doing fine or you're doing this or whatever. Draw a picture and then actually use that energy and place it into your aura field or place it into your chakra or wherever and feel how you feel. Like, feel it. And if you're saying you're great, but the immediate physical reaction is something like, oh my God, like, I don't know why my skin's burning, or I don't know why I feel so down, all of a sudden I feel so heavy, it's because you're lying to yourself. So that's something that may come up. Don't lie to yourself. Make sure that you are moving forward honestly. You don't have to speak everything, you don't have to say anything. I do say that if you're being asked a question, directly and honestly answer it. Don't be like, oh, well, you know, and don't put circumstances around it. Just say, I'm doing well, I'm not doing well. And then if someone asks you, look back. Because there is a little bit of uh, a tripping up that's going to happen if you try to like explain it first and then finally come to the conclusion of what you are feeling. Um, and then you may be then put off by someone who cuts straight through to how you're feeling. Like, you say certain words and they immediately know how to pinpoint that. Those sorts of people might come up. Those sorts of people, they may be the sorts of people that come up in your like life at this point, because you're nearing the end of illusory, I guess, transit of Neptune, even though it's supposed to be for transcending. And you will kind of move beyond what that is, but you need direct shooters, direct hitters, straightforward people that are going to do it. So that is what I'm going to leave you with for Neptune, June 2021. If you like this, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, comment, like, definitely like and comment. It helps populate the video. It helps, you know, let recommenders know that, oh, this is something you might like, things like that. So take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.